Many people read the A-book A Yogi's autobiography. Those who haven't read the world-famous book, enjoy watching these videos. Also, if you like the previous videos, subscribe and click the bell icon.
Chapter 4. If you are fleeing to the Himalayas, you will come out of your classroom with some small wins. Take a horse. Levi was my last suggestion to Amar Mittar, a high school friend who wanted to come to our rally and come to the Himalayas with me where no one in our house could see him. The next day we decided to flee. My elder brother Anant was keeping an eye on me, so precautions were needed. Suspecting that the will to run away from home was in my mind, he was determined to spoil my efforts anyway. Rakshareku was working mystically excited me spiritually. It is my hope that I will be able to see the face of Gurudev, which I often see in Divyadarshan's, somewhere in the Himalayan I places. My family is staying there after my father's permanent transfer to Calcutta. According to patriarchal Indian custom, Anant brought his wife home. In that house, I used to meditate every day in a small room of Midamidi and put my mind to the search for God. On that unforgettable day, it brought with the rain like a bad omen. The sound of cart wheels was heard on the road. Gaba gaba, a blanket, a pair of sandals, 2 Angosturas, a japamala, a photo of Lahiri Mahasaya, a book of Bhagavad Gita and a book of Bhagavad Gita. I threw it out of our third floor window. I went down the stairs and walked away from my uncle. He is buying fish near the door. What is the celebration? He looked at me suspiciously. Without any hesitation, I put a smile on his face and walked into the alley, took my bundle, followed the plan, followed carefully and met Amani. Then we went to Chandni Chowk Bazaar, English, to buy the clothes they wear. We have been saving money for a few months. My elder brother was wise. Very easy. Detective can work on you is. Knowing this, we wanted to wear European guises and cover his eyes. On our way to the station, we stopped by Joti Ngoskasam. I used to call him Jatinda. He is a new spiritual path. He is eager to get a guru in the Himalayas. He dressed up the new suit we had prepared. We are saddened that our height has flowed well. A deep enthusiasm engulfed our hearts. All we need is canvas shoes, I said, saying, canvas shoes, I said, taking our friends to the shop where rubber was put on sale. I stopped on the street to remove my Bhagavad Gita's leather atta, the leather straps of my solar hat helmet made in England. At the station we bought tickets to Burdwan, bottom of the Himalayas. We decided to change the train there to reach the Haridwar in the hills. When that train started burning like US, I revealed my hopes to my friends. By the power of attraction, the wild beasts in the Himalayas will come to us like saints. They are like tigers and pit cats waiting for our caress. Amaranika, literally in 2 ways, depicting the state of the future, portraying the state of the future, gave a smile to Amar's lips with an enthusiastic smile on Amar's lips. But Jatin was left out of sight. Running back, he looked through the window. There should be 3 shares of money. This is the suggestion made by Jatina after a long silence. In Burdwan, we have to buy someone's ticket. If so, no one can find out that we are all running away together at the station. He said. I agreed to his suggestion without suspecting anything. Ma bandi Burdwan at the time of Munimapu. He stopped. Jatana went into the ticket office. Amaru and I sat on the platform. We stayed like that for 15 minutes and then we started talking in vain. Looking for everything, looking very hard, for the Jatsga. We started shouting by name. But he was gathered in the darkness around that small station. I was in a strange stagnation. My courage was completely loosened. Did God himself make this the present tragedy? In order to reach, for the first time, he runs away from home with a very careful plan. And this charming scene is badly broken. Amar, let's go home. I said crying like a baby. This journey will not be damaged. I said, Okati, is this your love for God? Can't you stand on the small test of a friend of a friend? Said Amar, saying that it was God's test. My heart sank. We ate them and relaxed. In a few hours, we boarded the cart to go to Haridwar via Bareilly. The next day we sat on the platform to change many carts and talked about the important thing. We may be asked questions. I am not underestimating my elder brother's intelligence. Whatever the result is fine. I am not going to lie, I said. Mukunda, all I ask you is to be calm. If I'm talking, don't laugh, don't shake. And plank, a European officer came and scolded me. A string was played in front of me. I was able to realize that. Are you angry and running away from the house? No. I am happy that he allowed me to answer strongly. He turned around, then listening to the argument between them. It was as if he was competing with each other in Prajna Pradarshan. So, it became very difficult to follow our advice to be serious. He asked loudly, "Oh, tell me the truth," he repeated. "Sir, it looks like you are wearing spectacles and you don't know that it is here between you." Amar smiled fearlessly. "I can't make the third appear here," he said. Gandhi seems to be annoyed by this stubborn answer. The employee. He started attacking from the other side. "What is your name?" "I am called Thomas. My mother is English. My father was an Indian who converted to Christianity." "What is your friend's name?" "Thompan." "I will call you Thampan." Kulu, who has been suppressed in me till then, has reached a higher level. "Fortunately, I am just getting ready to leave. I walked the train without telling them." Amar also came with that employee who has the nature of believing the words of others easily. With the help of a helper, he loaded into the box where the Europeans sat. His mind seems to be annoyed by the thought that the two boys who were born half English should sit in a box reserved for their children and travel. After he politely left, I reached the seat and laughed heartily. Amar's face was clearly satisfied that he had overturned a well-experienced European officer. I sneaked reading the thread brought by that railway employee on the platform. It came from our Anant. It says, "3 Bengali boys dressed in English flee from home and are going to Haridwar through Mughal Sarai. Stop them till I come. You will get a reward for your help." Amar, I saw the timetables that were marked, saying, "Did I tell you not to leave it in your house?" My elder brother would have seen something there. He was shy and admitted his mistake. We stopped at Bareilly for a while. Dwarka Prasad was waiting for us. But the attempt to run away like is something fun. I told him that he was not. We also came to the Himalayas with us, but like last time, he did not come. That night when our cart was stopped at one station, another railway employee. He came and woke him up. I was half asleep. He too was deceived by the hybrid charms of these Thomas, Thompan. Called to come point Okati Tomidi about him. We rushed out of the station and came to the people of the city who were roaming freely. How Anantannaya sensed a European costume was the first thing we did. The first thing we did was to change my clothes and wear domestic clothes. It is better to leave Haridwar immediately. We bought tickets to go to Rishikesam in the north. Rishikesam is the land that has been blessed with the feet of many sages for a long time. I am already a cart. I climbed. Amar is still behind and is still on the platform. With a policeman's cry, he ran away. The police officer, who chased us as our guardian, led us to a police station bungalow and seized the money from us. He politely said that it was his duty to keep us there until my elder brother came. The officer told a strange story knowing that the destination we wanted to reach was the Himalayas. I seemed to have gone mad by the saints. Yesterday I saw a saint. You will never see someone greater than him. Another officer who worked with me, met him for the first time 5 days ago. We were searching hard for a murderer and we were guarding the banks of the Ganges. It is known that he disguises himself as a saint to rob the pilgrims. A short distance from us, a man appeared to match the culprit's comparisons. Even though we warned us to stop, the man did not heed. We ran to catch him. I went behind him and shot my axe good and strong. With that, his right hand was cut almost to the point. We were surprised that the man was still walking actively without shouting his mouth but not doing the worst. When we hanged him, he said slowly, "I'm not the murderer you are." When he found out that he had injured a sage like God, he was humiliated. "I'm gone," I fell at his feet and apologized and took off my turban to stop the blood that was spilling out loud. "Nena, it seems that this was done by you by mistake," the saint said kindly to me. "Go, don't curse yourself. Jaganmata, who was a loving girl, is taking care of me," and he pushed his hanging hand into his stubborn shoulder. Surprise, it was immediately glued. The bleeding also stopped. "After 3 days, come to my house, and I will be under that tree," You will see the wound completely healed. Then you don't have to regret it. Yesterday I and the officer who worked with me went eagerly to the place, he said. The saint was there. He let us see his hand as a test. There is no trace of it. There is no trace of the wound. I am going to the Himalayan desert on Rishikesha. The saint left quickly and blessed us, as if my life was at its peak due to his sanctity. It seems that the officer ended his words in a very devotional way. His experience seemed to have completely moved him. He gave me a book published in that wonderful news magazine. The newspaper, unfortunately, even in India, was not without these, wrote exaggeratedly in the usual Swanukasa method. I am also saddened by the loss of Mahayogi's son. India, for the past 2 centuries, has been a Vedic in the matter of material possessions, but it has the divine wealth of inexhaustible minds, spiritually, even to worldly humans like these policemen. The sky is the hills, the occasion is on the side of the road. To that officer for telling such a wonderful story and getting rid of our boredom. We said thank you. His suggestion is that he is more fortunate than you is. He met an effortless, great saint. Apart from a great guru's footing, but the search we did with sincerity, ended in a rude police station. Even though the Himalayas are so close, we are far away because we are captives. I told Amma that my mind is struggling for freedom. Let's get cold when the opportunity comes. We can go to the holy Rishikesha on foot. I smiled encouragingly. But, when they took away the money from us, my partner turned into a pessimist. If we start, in the end we will not reach the place where the saints are. Anant and Amar's elder brother came to the stomachs of the big tigers. Amar's elder brother came, but Amar, he warmly greeted their brother with a light mind. I did not answer. My elder brother gathered me and said, I know how my mind feels. All I ask for is the same thing. I have one good sage in Kashi. Come with me to meet him. Come with me, Kashi, come with me, for you. I want to come to Calcutta to see my worried father and stay for a few years. If you want, don't go later, but look for a teacher here. He is experience and family affection, but I know, I am the only one who was looking for a teacher. We all boarded the train going to Kashi. There was an incomparable, instant result of my prayer. Anant and I cleverly made a plan beforehand. Haridwara came. On the way, he stopped at Kashi on the way and met a scholar and arranged to talk to me later. That scholar and his son Anant and I promised that they will try to make me give up the intention of becoming a monk. My brother took me to their house. A scholar's son is a young man. He greeted me with great enthusiasm in Mumbai itself. He gave me a long theology, emphasizing that he knows my future through his clairvoyance. He dismissed my intention to become a monk. If you don't have the determination to give up your normal responsibilities, you will never see bad luck. You will not be able to see God. Without worldly experiences, you will not be able to remove your past. Amrita's words came out of my mouth. If even a person who has been covered with a lot of evil deeds meditates on me incessantly, the results of his evil deeds will quickly perish. He is virtuous and attains eternal peace. No devotee who believes in me will perish. No, this is certain. But when the young man prophesied so loudly, my confidence relaxed a little. Then I prayed to God in my mind with a heart full of devotion. Have mercy and get rid of my mental anxiety here. Answer now, do you want me to live as a monk, Sansari? Tell me what you mean. I noticed a saint outside the premises of the scholar's house. When I called him to him, I understood that he would listen to the serious conversation between him and I, who claims to be a visionary. Great power from his calm eyes rendu sannyasam samplus neplasus, rejecting all karmas are offered to God. Results for the past works that were not done in this life, but in the previous life. In the sense of doing, it comes from the Sanskrit dhatu called kri. Chapter 9, Shlo 30 నుండి 31. I felt like one was coming out. Babu, don't listen to that Abdani's words. In response to your prayer, God tells me to confidently tell you that asceticism is the only way you have decided in your birth. When I heard this message as a definite solution, I was not only surprised, but also grateful. Happy smile, come from the man's cough. Ignorant, is calling me from the forehead. My sage's guide, who was a saint, raised his hand and slowly left the scholar. He and his son were looking at my heart with condolences. I heard that he too had left the house in an uncertain search for God. I turned away from the rage. I told my elder brother that I did not want to talk to this family. He was disappointed and immediately agreed to leave. Soon we boarded the train to Calcutta. How did you find out that I ran away with two friends, detectives? Asking that, I revealed my interest in fun to my elder brother on our return journey. He smiled mischievously. I knew that Amar had left the class and did not come again. I went to their house the next morning and pulled out the railway timetables that had been marked. Just then, Amar's father was talking to the cart outside in the cart. He was about to go. My son will not come with me to go to school this time. He has disappeared, he said sadly. I heard the cartman who knew me that the boys and two others dressed as white nobles and took the train at the Howrah station, said the cartman. So I got three evidences, timetables, three boys, clothes of Englishmen, with a mind mixed with joy and joy. I am listening to my elder brother's things. It is said that the generosity we have shown in the case of the cart has gone awry. I immediately went and gave telegrams to all the masters of the village station where Amar Gila was put on the timetable. He put a tick near Bareilly. So, I gave your friend there, Dwarka. Later, after talking around a house in Calcutta, it was learned that our Jatida did not come home one night, but the next morning he embarked on a European guise. I searched for him and called him to come for dinner. When I called him like a friend, he refused. On the way, I took him to a police station without any suspicion. Before that, I picked up the officers who looked like scary. As soon as we left, they surrounded him. Unable to bear their gaze, Jatida agreed to tell Sanjashi about his strange behavior. He started saying that he left to go to the Himalayas while his mind was relaxing with spiritual enthusiasm. My mind was filled with the hope of getting a chance to meet great teachers. But Mukunda said, when we are in the Himalayan caves, when we are in joy, the tigers become bound by the mantra and sit around like pit cats. That's when I said, if the cruel nature of tigers does not change due to the influence of our Dhyan Samadhi Shakti, will they treat us with kindness like pit cats? No, the anger I felt then disappeared because each part of the body disappeared separately in the middle of the journey without telling you is. This hilarious explanation given by my elder brother on the train removed all the pain caused to me by Jatina. Nalabai Aru, but it should be said, I also had something like Rava's satisfaction, because even the caste could not avoid the threat of the police. Anantada, you were born on a spy, he said funny ly. There was no frustration from the look I saw. I will tell him that. Go Gandhi Sriram, near home in Calcutta, father, at least until he completes my high school education. He told me to keep his walking legs steady. Tantrum Panni, Rishitulia Swami Kevalanandaga, a scholar, arranged to come to our house every day. They will teach you Sanskrit, said my father. My father hoped that if I was trained by a well-educated visionary, I would satisfy my spiritual aspirations. But what he thought was subtly overturned. My master did not teach me on the dry things that sharpen the mind, and on the contrary, he ignited the desire of God for the testimony of God. What my father did not know was that Swami Kevalanandagaru was the best disciple of Lahiri Mahasaya. There were thousands of disciples of those incomparable great gurus. His divine attraction was not stopping him and attracted them to him. Later I came to know that the Lahiri Mahasaya is often called Kevalanandagari, a sage. With the face of our tuition master and his abundant hair, she used to call him Anantada. The younger brothers or sisters add the onward, da, to the end of the elder brother's name. By the time we met, Kevalanandagaru did not take sannyas. He was usually called Sastri Mahasaya. But when the names Lahiri Mahasaya, Master Mahasaya, Chapter 9 come, our Sanskrit should be free of confusion. It was designed. His black eyes were as pure as the eyes of a child who did not know the hypocrisy. All the movements of his thin body show calm thinking and elegance. He is always gentle and always loving, and he is steadfast in infinite consciousness. Both of us used to spend many hours happily in the practice of deep Kriya Yoga. Mopa Kevalanandagaru was a well-known scholar in the ancient sciences, i.e., in the subjects of the Holy Scriptures, with official knowledge. His scholarship earned him the title of Lahiri Mahasaya. Everyone used to call him by that name. For the opportunity to talk about, I used to try. One day my master granted my wish and told me something about the life they spent in the presence of Lahiri Mahasaya. Had every night as their destination for my trip, their residence in Kashi. The teacher always stayed upstairs on the first floor, in the small room in front. He used to sit on a stick with Padmasana. Behind the table, there is not even a single piece of wood to join. On the opposite side, his disciples used to sit in a crescent shape like a flower garland. His eyes were shining with Brahmananda and moving. They were always half closed, poking through the sphere of eternal bliss through a visionary innermost being. It is rare for him to speak loudly. His gaze, according to the context, would have focused on a disciple who needed their help. Then the words of relief like the light that came like an avalanche would emanate in a stream. When the master was mentioned, I am using the name of Swami Kevalananda, which came after becoming an ascetic. Recently his biography was published in Bengali. Born in 1863 in Khula district of Bengal, Kevalananda Garu died in Kashi at the age of 68. His household name is Ashutosh Chatterjee. With the eyes of those great men, a joy that could not be described was emanating from me. Like emanating from one Mahapadma of Anant, the fragrance from him filled me. Meva being in his presence was a great experience that changed my existence even though I didn't talk for days. If any obstacle to the I was confronted to disturb my concentration, I would have meditated at the feet of my teacher. There, very subtle spiritual states were also available to me. Gurus at a lower level than him do not have such feelings. Those great people are a living temple. Its secret gates were open for all the disciples who entered with devotion. Lahiri Mahasaya did not comment on the Holy Scriptures with book erudition. Effortlessly, he would sink into the Divya library. His omniscience was pouring out from the spring of words and thoughts. He had a wonderful key to reveal the deep visionary science that was hidden in the Vedas for many ages. When asked to explain the various levels of consciousness mentioned in the ancient texts, he smiled and gave his consent. Spot I will enter into those situations until you what I see. He was very different from the teachers who just based the texts and expressed the feelings they did not experience. Of the 4 orthodox Vedas, there are still more than 1 Chiluku Prasthana texts. Emerson in his journal, Johars the Vedic concept, it is like heat. Like at night, like waves, like waves. It has every religious concept, in the mind of every poet with a noble poetic heart. There are all the great edhaks of Masail in the synonym. This book cannot be ignored. Compensation. Abyss of power, immense silence, says Natha. Comment on the verses like how you understand. He often used to say to a disciple who was a moderate teacher, I will inspire your thoughts in the way you make the right commentary. They are according to this. Many truths visited by Lahiri Mahasaya have been written down. Many disciples wrote large commentaries on them. The teacher never told me to trust blind faith. He said, the words are just the upper gloves. He said, achieve the firm belief that God exists through the joyful yoga you get in meditation. No matter what problem the disciple faces, he is the one who gives it as a solution. Advice to practice Kriya Yoga, even when I am not with this body, the ability of this non-yoga is not lost. It is not something that can be hidden and then forgotten. This yoga method. Through Kriya Yoga continuously move forward in the path of liberation. Its power lies in your practice. For me, I think that Kriya Yoga is the strongest of all, in the quest for the realization of the Supreme Being, in the tools designed to attain liberation through self-effort. The hidden God, in the physical body of Lahiri Mahasaya and some of his disciples, by using the method of Kriya Yoga, has made an eye catch and look for US. When Kevalananda Guru was in the presence of the Guru, there was a divine miracle once performed by the Lahiri Mahasaya. One day my master, who was a saint, told the story of Naka. His eyes are ascended away from the Sanskrit books on the table in front of US. I felt sorry for the blind man named Ramu among the Guru's disciples. I wanted to do anything for him. He is very faithful and serves our teacher who was shining like the supreme being in them. It seemed that there should be no light in his eyes. One day I tried to speak Rama, but he, with a stick made by his hand, sat patiently for hours, throwing it to the teacher. After the last step was out of the room, I too went back. Ramu, how long has it been since I was born? Even for a moment, I was not lucky enough to see the sun. He said, a teacher who is omnipotent can help you. I said to him once. Machadu Ramu went to Lahiri Mahasaya in disgust. He feels that seeking material wealth along with his spiritual prosperity is almost as shameful. Swami, there is in you who shines the whole universe. I am praying that the light of God will come into my eyes so that we can see the sun that shines with this light, said Ramu. Someone took the step to put me in trouble. I don't have the power to cure, he added. Alas, the supreme being in you can surely heal. That is a different matter. There is no limit to the power of Ramu Paramatnu, and the stars and the living cells in the body can be ignited with his mysterious life force, and the supreme being can surely give light to your eyes, said the teacher. He touched the point between the eyebrows on Rama's face. Keep your mind concentrated there for 7 days and chant Rama's name often. The brightness of the sun will rise especially for you, he said. A miracle happened in 1 week. Ramu was the first place where one eye or the eye of knowledge. Usually the consciousness of man at the time of death is drawn to that holy place. This is the reason why the feet of the dead are turned upwards. He saw the beautiful face of Mother Nature. Ramu, the omniscient Sadguru, suggested to his disciple that he should worship Sri Rama's name, which is more than any other divine man. Rama's faith as the ground with devotion. The seed of the disease, which is the Guru, the powerful and the eternal, has sprouted. Kevalanandagaru remained silent for a moment. He reiterated the glory of his teacher. It is clear that he himself never gave the opportunity to arrogance. Lahiri Mahasaya gave themselves to the therapeutic power. That is why he made that power radiate freely through them. Lahiri, there are also many bodies that have cured diseases by Mahasaya, and in the end they must be burnt to fire. But it was the spiritual awakening that he caused in silence. It must be said that the Christ, like disciples whom he crafted, are wonderful glories that never perished. I was not a Sanskrit scholar, but he taught me the word of the divine word, Kevalanandagaru. The root causes the separation between the duality or the man who created him. Imagine being the creators. P. 54A, 334, 347A. C. Nachan Swapan Swasan Pralapan Visajan Grihainanasa Nimashannapi. Indriya Nindriya Shuvartanta iti Dharayan. He who believes in the absolute truth of all the truth says, I am not doing anything in myself, I think. This is all that the sensual world is doing. He believes that, Adhya, V. 8.91 Prakrityaivacha Karmani Kriyamanani Sarvasaya Pasyati Tatatmana Makartaram Sa Pasyati. He is true. He observes that what happens all over the place is done according to the habit of nature and not as a representative but for self, practice through practice. Adhva. Sai Muppai Ajopi Sannavyatma Bhutan Mishwaropi Sanprakritam Swamadistaya Sambhavam Atma Mayaya. I am the unborn, the immortal, the imperishable, the ruler of all beings, but I am coming and going like my magic, and my magic. Adhya IV. 6 DV Haisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyati Ma Meva Ye Prapadyant Mayamitam Tarantite. It is difficult to hide me, the divine curtain of various Leelas, and those who Mishame will be able to break through it and move forward. Adhya 7, 14.
You want more videos? Please like and comment and share and subscribe. Please support.